to What's Right with the World with your host, Glenn Ambrose.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to What's Right with the World. Today we are discussing, Ben, what are we discussing?
This article comes from the San Francisco Chronicle. Bay Area homicides plunged to historic lows in the first half of 2018. Killings in the Bay Area's biggest cities plunged by 1/3 in the first half of the year, a trend that puts the region on pace to possibly see less bloodshed in 2018 than it has in decades. The reason behind the drop-off, driven by San Francisco's and Oakland's gains as well as two other towns, are difficult to pin down according to the police officials and criminologists, but the change is unmistakable. It's also consistent with a broader long-term decrease in homicides and violent crime in California and around the country since the brutal decades of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Through the end of June, police in the 15 most populous Bay Area cities recorded 84 killings, down from 122 in the same prior period of 2017. That was the most times I think that I will ever say brutal killing or bloodshed in What's Right with the World. But it's a positive story.
Yeah. But a third, that's huge. That's not, and it's unmistakable. It's dropping, something is going on. So, and that's the most important thing, of course, if we could pinpoint what it was, that might be helpful too. But it's not to get lost on the fact that it's just happening. And if it's happening, that's huge.
Absolutely.
And that's, something that I've seen the numbers just be fluffed on that type of stuff constantly. I've seen politicians go on and go, oh, murder is up. And then the other one go, no, it's not, it's down. And they go, well, you're lying. And the other one goes, well, you're lying. And then they move on to the next subject. And it's like, seriously? They don't, neither one of them probably even know the truth. And even if one of them did, the other one doesn't. And they're really high up in politics. And that just bothers me. When they just go out there and there's actual numbers that you can look at, and the people who are representing us don't even use the facts. In their discussions, they just make stuff up, and then one of them's lying, and then they just never decide which one it is. It's absurd to me. But so you get these news stories that come out, and I think when we see actual numbers and go, hey, there's a substantial decrease, something is going on that's good right now.
Right.
That's the big deal, and that's what we have to hang on to. And I think murder and crime rates are one of the most commonly misunderstood things, because we're regularly romanticizing the past and saying how horrible it is now. And it's honestly, if we look at the numbers over the years, these things are dropping.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely, right? They are. Yeah.
Right, Ben?
There was a. Do you remember the gentleman or woman? I'm not sure. Who wrote the book that you talked about right at the beginning of this show when we started doing What's Right with the World. Somebody had a book that came out that talked about all of these trends of there are less people dying in war now than there ever have been, and there are less people dying from homicides than there ever have been.
Yeah, I think that was the Lynn Twist book.
Yeah.
Right at the end. But yeah, that's it. It's we have these huge progressions in society moving forward, and these gigantic things leaning in the right direction, and we're running around going, isn't the violence horrible? Well, yeah, it is. But isn't the fact that it's getting less wonderful? What are you going to choose to look at?
Right.
What are you going to choose to put your attention on? And that's really, what this show is all about, is just, of course, violence is bad. And if you just experienced some yesterday, that sucks. What we're talking about is the totals dropping. So we're getting more loving towards each other. We're getting less violent as a society. And that is a wonderful thing. And the more we can put the spotlight on that, the more people will start understanding it, believing it, and talking about that. And then that expands instead of being focused on the negative all the time.
And that is, I really don't think that there's any better way to end it. That's, what the show's all about, is focusing on that good and the positive things and the positive news stories that are coming out of, places where we would otherwise look for the negative. And, crime rates and murder rates are definitely somewhere where everybody always focuses on the negative. And the fact that they're dropping by 1/3 in a year is, a huge, huge, huge thing.
And sometimes they generalize and just say, "Oh my God," and they don't have any facts. It's just like, "Oh my God, we live in such a violent society." Yeah, I mean, there's violence in our society. There sure is. But did you know that it was lower than it has been in 30 years? Well, no. This needs to be, everybody needs to be celebrating this and really putting their attention on it.
Absolutely. All right. So that's it for this week.
That's it. Keep listening and keep looking for what's right with the world. And we will talk with you soon.
Glenn is available for life coaching sessions. To book an appointment or for more information, go to glennambrose.com, follow him on Facebook and Twitter, or click the link in the description of this episode.